What is up, guys? Fado82 coming at you with some free cam vanilla footage from the US Rustopia server. We got a bit of a sausage fest going on here with 5 players helping each other to boost jump over a second story sheet metal wall. This is a testament to teamwork and also why Rust is best meant played with friends, but notice how they're able to, with teamwork, get a member up over the wall. In particular, General Johnson's able to get his Johnson up over the wall and into that courtyard, and he's taking this stealthy approach once he gets in there. Notice he's not taking the sleepers out on the floor immediately. He doesn't want to draw attention to himself, so he's assessing the lay of the land. He's seeing where the low-hanging fruit is, what supplies he can get. He's looking to the furnaces, to any chests that are open to the campfires, any deployable items, and taking what he can before he eliminates those sleepers. It's a very dangerous game to leave those sleepers alive because they can wake up at any moment. And as we can see here from some movement going on inside that main base, one of the members is hard at work on building and fortifying that base. As of right now, he does not know what is going on outside, and General Johnson has at this point in time killed the sleepers, but still has not alerted the attention of this defender who's hard at work in the base. Taking the quiet approach, Johnson's gone over to an opening in the wall here, and communicating with his team members, he's able to throw loot back out through that opening. This is where things do take a bit of a turn though, due to some AK fire that lit up the landscape here. A naked came around the corner. I believe it was a random naked from the hills, but the other member on the other side of the receiving end of that loot had to distract himself or be distracted from gathering that loot and use the AK, which drew out the attention of that base defender. The base defender is now stunned and shocked to see General Johnson in this area. He probably thinks he's a hacker, probably has no clue how he got into the base. Most people don't think you can boost up over a wall that is a second story wall, but you certainly can. And inside here, you'll see that Johnson has taken out all sleepers on both floors. He's now doing some damage, and Johnson can't get himself back out of the base. Although I believe he could have jumped on one of those furnaces from that second story there, or maybe on the furnace itself, he could have jumped up on it and over one of those high exterior stone walls. Would have been risky because he could have got shredded on the barbed wire, but I believe he could have pulled it off. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. What Johnson is doing now is he's using a tactic to draw out that defender. He's tried to bottleneck him in where the furnaces are, so he's chipping away at it with a pickaxe. The defender's falling for that bait, but he is quicker on the trigger and lands his shots more effectively, taking General Johnson out. He's now looting Johnson's body, and as we pan out here, guys, you'll get a sense of the scope of this compound. So only one defender was on to defend this, but this is a very stressful situation in Rust. When you're the only member of your group on and people are raiding your compound, or even though if we're not calling this a raid, if they're just in the interior part of your compound, it's a very scary place to be when you're the sole defender. So notice that some of the raiders here who are in the compound have taken up on rocks to shoot back at the defender, and the defender has decided at this point to hold up in a tower, which is probably his best move. He's going to be the best defended at that point, and he can really assess what's going on and how many people are coming his way. He doesn't know exactly what's going on. He doesn't know if this is just one man who got up over a wall, and he also doesn't know if a larger raid team is going to come over and boost each other over and get multiple members in there and have a small fire team inside the interior of that courtyard. So it's a really risky thing. When he got back to the courtyard, there was already another member who had boosted over there. He was able to dispatch them with a rifle, but now he is on guard, even a higher level of heightened awareness, and he is absolutely paranoid at this point in time. As we pan out here, you'll notice that he's shooting at anything that moves, and what is moving is some hill people. There's some forest dwellers who are up in the hill here, and they're taking some shots from that base defender who thinks that they're most likely those raiders who are fleeing into the hills. As the players moving through the hills attempt to dodge the fire that's peppering them from that tower in the main base, they encounter a couple naked players here in the hills. I think they were just as surprised as I was by this footage and by this encounter. They kind of came out of nowhere, but they handled it well. They did have better weaponry and armor, but nakeds are still terrifying in Rust, even if you're a player who has a little bit of gear on you. They were able to dispatch the nakeds in no time, while still having to dodge the incoming fire from the main base as they make their way back into the hills to their secluded forest base. I was attempting to film what I thought was the last shot here for this video. I was going to make it a day in Rust video, but then it ended up being too long at one scene, so I put it into its own video. But as I was filming the last shot of the defender with his ever watchful gaze in that location, I heard the sound of C4 echo through the landscape, and while I was back at the main base, those players had left their forest retreat and C4'd into a base which was a smaller base, so they were going after what would be considered newer players. Kind of this circle of life in Rust. The pecking order, the food chain, however it works, however you guys want to interpret it. But raiding happens on any scale, so even a few man teams will find their way into those smaller bases. It's not always the big clans. But I thought this footage was great for a couple reasons. One, this footage encapsulates for me the magic of Rust. This wasn't a large-scale raid with rockets and C4 and all this chaos, so it's not going to be this big sexy raid cam, but this is the fun part of Rust, being able to boost your buddies up over a wall, being able to get into base, get out quickly, just have fun with it. Smaller groupings of players, not that there's anything wrong with big clans, but this footage also illustrates how smaller groupings of players can stick it to the man, stick it to big clans, boost your buddies up over the wall, kill their sleepers, loot their furnaces, get back out of there as quick as you can, and have fun with that. Do that time and time again, do that over and over again, and the big clans will fear that behavior. It's guerrilla tactics, it's guerrilla warfare. When you have a smaller group, you have to adapt and fight dirty in many cases. That's simply the nature of warfare and the nature of how things work in Rust. As we go ahead and wind down the scene here, I thought this also captured the magic of Rust, this naked player running through the scenes that we took a look at in the video, running through the forest, hoping to live and survive another day. As always, really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and a comment. Fadeaway82, peace.